Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Backstage Pass. My name is Dean Butcher. I'm your host of the show. In today's episode, I'm thrilled to be sitting down with a gentleman I've not yet interviewed on Backstage Pass. He's sold over 1 million albums worldwide. He's a multi-instrumentalist, and his brand new album that's out, Slam Dunk, is nominated for a Grammy. Please welcome to the stage none other than Mr. Gerald Albright. Hey man, how are you?
Great, good to see you.
Likewise. I'm going to start off with this new album, Slam Dunk.
Yes.
Nominated for a Grammy.
Excited.
Yeah?
Very excited.
Well, what do you think your chances are?
Well, you know, I've had 8 nominations now. So every year people say, okay, Gerald, this is going to be your time. This is going to be your time. I just go into it very prayerful.
Yep.
And very positive. And whatever happens, I mean, it's just an honor to be nominated. And to be nominated 8 times. And the nomination reflects efforts from your peers voting for you.
Right.
You know, so that's quite an honor. So if we take home the trophy this year, beautiful. If not, we'll just keep making the music and move forward. Let's
talk about the first time you were nominated to now. The first time you were nominated, you going into it, obviously there's a different sensation. You know, the first time you would have been nervous and also thrilled at the same time.
Sure.
Are you a little more relaxed now? And you've been through this, you know.
I am a little more relaxed.
First rodeo. So.
Yeah. 8 times around, you just kind of say, all right, we'll just see what the gods have to offer.
Right.
Yeah. So, but it's a good feeling. I'm going to attend the Grammys on February 8th of this year, and me and the wife, and we're just going to have a great time. It's going to be a party. Yeah.
Let me ask you about the album. When you're doing a new album, and it is nominated, and it's recognized, you know, amongst the peers, and you've been nominated for the Grammy. Each year, do you think your albums get better and better? Do you reflect and look back and think, you know what, that really should have got the Grammy, or that's my favorite album? When you're working on an album, how do you think of that?
That's a great question. Well, I'm 17 records in now. So I always describe each record as like a chapter of a book, where I was at that given point in time. And because I'm very honest with my music, when the listener listens to my CD, they'll hear where I was at that given point. So Slam Dunk is a reflection of where I am now. And I'm in a really good place in my life, man. And I've been very lucky to have a great wife, great kids, great career, and a great audience that has followed me for many, many years. And so it's a good place to be.
Is that the reason for the name?
Yeah, well, that also, I'm a multi-instrumentalist. I love playing bass guitar, all the saxophones, flute. I even sing a little bit, just a little bit. And one of the premises behind this record was to bring those background instruments to the forefront, because a lot of people didn't know I played bass guitar, but I had the pleasure of playing with people like Anita Baker, Rodney Franklin. I did a lot of recording on the bass when I was living on the West Coast in Los Angeles for different CD projects and stuff. So it's a real passion of mine, and I just wanted to bring that to the forefront. So you'll hear some bass solos. I'm playing bass on most of the tracks on the record, and I have done that on previous records, but I hadn't really done the solo bass thing. So
do you record it at home, or?
Yes, I have a recording studio at home, and I record about 80% of the music at home, and then I go to Los Angeles to mix the record and master it. Yeah.
And when you're writing the music, where do you get your inspiration from? And is it difficult to? I mean, do you get writer's block sometimes?
I do. Inspiration comes from any and everything. I mean, I can look at a little phrase on a billboard and go, wow, that's a catchy phrase, and that might evolve into some type of lyric, or I may just be playing my bass guitar and play a riff that, oh, that feels good, and then I'll just put it in loop mode and just play it over and over again, and suddenly this idea will evolve. I'm just very honest about the music, so when I walk into the studio, I really don't have any preconceived notions about what's going to happen. You know, like I'm going to write a blues tune today, or I'm going to write a jazz tune, or a love ballad. It's just whatever I'm feeling at the time. That's what we go to work on that particular day.
I know that there are a lot of artists that I've had the pleasure of interviewing and speaking with, and some have different methods. Some sort of schedule themselves to go into the studio and force themselves to write, and others will sort of wake up in the middle of the night and have this thought and have to write it down. Otherwise, if they wake up in the morning, they've forgotten what they were thinking of.
Right.
Do you have that sort of pen and paper next to your bed? And
I usually keep a little micro recorder with me.
Okay.
And if I get an idea, I'll just sing the melody or whatever the ideas are into the recorder. But I'm a real free spirit when it comes to recording. I just literally just go in and turn on the studio, and then whatever comes out, that's what we're going to work on that day. I don't get too serious about it, because I want the music to be genuine Gerald.
Right.
And so whatever comes out at that given point is the honest part of the personality at that time.
And now when you're writing, do you get to a point where you're like, I've got like a minute and a half, 2 minutes, and now I'm stuck?
Yeah.
What do you do?
I in the old days, in my younger years, which wasn't that long ago, by the way.
No.
In my younger days, I would get real frustrated, and I would just try to force that idea out. Now what I do these days, after so many records, I'll realize that it is a stopping point, and I'll go somewhere for like 2 or 3 hours. I may take a walk or just go to dinner and just kind of press the reset button and come back. And 90% of the time, the idea flows at that point. You just can't force creativity.
Right.
So
with that being said, then, and you said 90% of the time, my guess is that you've got samples and little demos of songs in your logbook, if you will, and in your books that have maybe been there for years. Is that right?
Absolutely.
You go back and look at them and think, hey, that was a great idea, I'll pick it up now, or yeah, that wasn't so good.
Yeah, sometimes I do go back to some older ideas, but most of the time these days I just start fresh. I want it to be in that moment.
Yeah.
And sometimes I just start a drum loop or something and then play my bass to that drum loop and go, all right, this feels good.
Okay.
Let's work on this,
Proudest album?
I'm sorry?
Proudest album.
Proudest album. Well, I think the first album is always the one that you're most proudest of, because everything leading up to that, all the efforts of doing the demo tapes and going to the record companies and letting the record company execs listen to it, and they may say, well, that's nice, but we're not really looking for that right now.
Right.
When you finally reach that last hurdle of somebody accepting and being parallel with your vision on a particular project, and then the first time you hear it on the radio, you never forget that.
Right,
so
right.
I would say the first record was the most special.
And I'm going to go to another question now, because we call it Backstage Pass, and I want to get the real goss and the real juice. Is there an album that you are not so proud of and almost embarrassed about?
No.
Good.
Yeah, I've had a good run.
Yeah.
But I will say this, there were some performances in terms of improvisation. I may have played a note that might have been out of tune, and I didn't realize it, and then listening back, you go, oh man, I wish I could have fixed that. But then it's too late at that point,
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you're watching Backstage Pass, and when we come back, we're going to talk to Gerald about his family life and the success of his entire family and the love that he's got for them as well. So stick around, you're watching Backstage Pass with Gerald Albright.
Thank you.
The Smooth Jazz Cruise, or as we like to call it, the greatest party at sea, is the most heralded cruise of its kind in the world. For the past 18 sailings, no cruise has presented more talent, more music, or provided its guests with greater luxury and excitement. The Smooth Jazz Cruise will carry on that tradition with 2 sailings in 2016, January 10 through 17, and again from February 21 through 28. Our lineup is amazing. Join Marcus Miller, David Sanborn, Boney James, Brian Culbertson, Candy Dolfer, Richard Elliott, Jonathan Butler, Peebo Bryson, Alonzo Burden, DW3, together with 3 amazing bands and exciting additional performers and vocalists. The Smooth Jazz Cruise has always been the greatest party at sea, and for 2016, in the beautiful ports of call as we sail through the Caribbean, we'll be breezing. As one of our most beloved special guests, George Benson, returns to perform all of his biggest hits and take that party to a whole new level. We sail on a true luxury ship, Holland America's MS Eurodam, from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, with exciting ports of call, the private island of Half Moon Cay, Grand Cayman, Cozumel, and Key West. So stay tuned for booking information as the cruise always sells out. Why? Because it was the first and is the greatest contemporary music charter cruise in the world. Welcome back to the Backstage Pass. I'm here with Gerald Albright.
Thank you.
Gerald, I've had the privilege of meeting your lovely wife, your lovely daughter, your lovely son, and they're all very successful in their own right. I want to talk about your wife, Glenniss, first, because she is an incredible cook, an incredible chef, and has her own line of sort of health food and health products.
Yes.
Talk to me about that.
Well, she is really passionate about it, and just having a snapshot on a daily basis of her being in the kitchen and just working out new recipes and trying to promote health. Because she's a cancer survivor, and so in her coming back to her wellness, she had to learn how to eat right, both in terms of food that we eat every day and desserts. So she has these wonderful recipes, dessert recipes that and they taste good. They're not. Sometimes you taste health food and it tastes bland.
Yeah.
This stuff is great, man, and that's not just her husband talking. I mean, it's just really, really good stuff. And so to watch her do her thing, it just makes me smile. And she's been doing it for a long, long time. And so I'd love to see her do her thing.
And I was excited because we've been, Glenniss and I have been communicating back and forth. Because, Glenniss and I know you're going to be there doing the cooking demonstration later on in the week. But she was explaining to me that there are various, she has different desserts for sort of various joints and hips and knees and things like that, the ingredients really help promote health and inflammation and things like that.
Yes, absolutely.
Because that's a science. I mean, you can't just go in and think, hey, I'm going to make a muffin and it's going to fix your back.
Yes. Well, again, it all stems from her being a cancer survivor, and she's the most proud woman I've ever met in my life, man. And she is really on a mission about bringing wellness through her desserts to people who are going through similar things. And so she's methodical about learning all the information. She's gone to school and gotten her degrees to do this. And I'm just so very proud of her. I mean, it's a life work. She does what I do through music, she does through food.
Okay.
And what we try to do is make people feel better with what we do, with the talent that we've been given. And we're a team. And a team of 43 years, so we're very happy about that.
All right, That's awesome.
Thank you.
Are you allowed in the kitchen?
I cook great cream of wheat and oatmeal, and then after that point, man, I leave it to Glenniss. But sometimes I'll get in the kitchen, like when we're going to have a lot of people over,
to clean up.
Yeah, well, to clean up, and I'll chop vegetables. I'll do a lot of the prep stuff, But I just love to watch her do her thing in the kitchen.
Now, you must be proud of your daughter, Selena Albright, because she's an up-and-coming star and in her own right and fantastic vocalist. Yeah. Is it because I've watched her grow over the years since I've had the pleasure of meeting you and your family, and you've always seemed very supportive. Is it difficult because the music industry and the entertainment industry is a tough road to go down?
Yes.
So to see your daughter follow her dreams, but also know that you've got to sort of teach her caution along the way.
Yes. Well, that's a great point. I can give her the knowledge that stems from experiences that I've had in the business, and with my daughter, I haven't seen anything excite her so much as music excites her. And when she gets on a microphone to sing, man, she's just a whole nother girl. And so you have to support that. I support anything that is her passion, her dream, and something positive in life. So Glenniss and I do whatever we can to support on whatever level. And we're so proud of her, man, because like you said, she has grown, and we're in the process now of recording her new CD.
Awesome.
Me and a gentleman who helped me on my Slam Dunk project, his name is Chris Davis. We call him Big Dog. He's also going to help on Selena's project. So we're going to do a co-production on her new CD, which will hopefully come out the latter part of 2015.
Awesome. Yeah. Were you nervous about her going into the industry, knowing that it's, there could be some knockbacks and your dreams can be, sort of crushed or?
Well, we're always, as parents, we're always nervous about anything.
Right.
It's just, it comes from fatherhood and motherhood. But she's doing it the right way. The people that she has in line to represent her, I feel
put her on the right path.
Put her on the right path, and I think that's you have to have the right team to get to the right goal. And I think she has a wonderful team of people that are really going to represent her in a positive way. So And of course, she has all the love and support from Glenniss and I. So.
And now Brandon, your son, Glennis was telling me that he's very good with graphics, but what does Brandon do?
Brandon has his degree in cinematography. He does video production and digital editing. He's been doing projects for companies like Pepsi-Cola, and there's a lot of restaurants who like a video crew to go behind the scenes to show how they make their recipes that, you know, became the recipe for all of the restaurants in the nation, that kind of thing. So he's behind the scenes doing that stuff, man. And at an early age, he loved gadgets. He used to love to just play with stuff, you know, Sony PlayStation, Xbox, all that stuff. And he parlayed that into, you know, cameras and stuff that dealt with cameras. So this is right in line with the young Brandon that we reared, and he's doing great, and it's nice to have your kids set on the right path and doing their thing, and you're going to hear big things from him, and he's even going to be doing a lot of my videos, like archival B-roll kind of stuff, you know, behind the scenes with Gerald Albright kind of stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you mentioned PlayStation, because when we come back after the break, we're going to talk about the PlayStation game that you're featured on right after we come back from this break. You're watching Backstage Pass with Gerald Albright.
The signature jazz cruise on Seabourn is a beyond perfect way to spend 10 luxurious days in the Mediterranean, visiting the most famous ports of call in Europe, and 10 incredible nights of the most amazing jazz in the world. Join us as we visit Rome, Positano, Elba, Portofino, Cannes, Barcelona, Menorca, and Monte Carlo, and thrill to the music of Monty Alexander, Jeff Hamilton Trio, Joe Lovano, Marcus Miller, Houston Person, John Pizzarelli Quartet, Diane Reeves, and our Barcelona show featuring Eliane Elias and Maraca. The signature jazz cruise on Seabourn, the most luxurious jazz cruise in the world.
Welcome back to Backstage Pass here with multi-instrumentalist Gerald Albright.
Thank you.
Now, before we went into commercial break, we discussed that you had mentioned PlayStation, about your son Brandon.
Yes.
And years ago, you were asked to perform on a PlayStation game, which we just researched then.
Yes.
Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Yes. Yes. You know, you never know what you're going to be called for. At the time, I was living in Los Angeles, and there was a wonderful producer named Rika Muranaka, who was doing a lot of the music for the PlayStation games. And she needed a sax solo on one of the scenes of the game, and she also needed some children's vocals as well. So I did the saxophone, and then I had Selena and Brandon, who were very young at the time, come in and overdub vocals for that game. So it was like a family effort versus me just coming in and doing the saxophone overdub.
Have you played the game?
I have not.
Have your kids played the game?
I don't think they have, but you know, my son has played every other game besides that one. You know, he's just really into the Sony PlayStation thing. And
another piece of trivia I learned, well, first of all, you love golf. You're an avid golfer.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And do you have like golf clubs or something engraved on your saxes?
Well, you really have been doing your research, haven't you? I do. When we were developing the GA5 horn, which is a signature horn with a wonderful company called Cannonball. On the front, we have all this hand engraving on. Oh, you're a big fan. Hey, Mark. On the front bell, there's this hand engraving, and at the bottom of the horn, I asked for them to put a set of golf clubs that were like intersecting like this on the front. And so on every production horn, you'll see that, just because of my love for golf.
And that's kind of almost like your exclusive logo, right?
Yes, exactly.
That's very cool.
Now, in terms of the game does not reflect the logo. You know what I'm saying? A partner of mine is in the audience right now who I've had the distinct pleasure of playing golf with, and he invited me to his course, and we just have fun. You know, it's a game for me. I don't take it seriously, but it's 5 hours of me time. You know,
right.
from all the fast lane nature of the music business, that I can go out and play golf and press the reset button and just exhale. That's my thing. Yeah.
Do you have any endorsements?
I wish I did. You got any connections?
No. Have you had any holes in one?
No, I did have an eagle though on a par 3, which I was very proud of.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm very, very proud of that. Absolutely.
Now, you've worked with the likes of, as you said, Anita Baker, Olivia Newton-John, like, is there someone that you have not had the chance to work with yet that you'd love to really work with? And you get to see all the guys and everybody on stage.
Yeah.
And you get up and jam with them, but is there anybody that you've not yet had the privilege?
Wow. I would have to say that the first person that comes to mind is unfortunately no longer with us. And the reason why I would love to share the stage with him is because he changed my life musically in high school. When I first heard the very first recording of Julian Cannonball Adderley, it changed my life.
Yeah.
The very first person I listened to was Maceo Parker. I'm a big James Brown fan, so Maceo was a premier saxophonist, is the premier saxophonist, and has been for years for James Brown's music. And so that was my first opening to what I wanted to sound like as an alto player. And then in high school, I was opened up to the world of Cannonball Adderley. And the thing I love about him is that he is a perfect line down the middle of being soulful and playing improvisation like nobody else, you know, and just heartfelt in terms of his playing. You really feel his soul when he's playing. And so he changed my life. So, you know, I hope to maybe, you know, if I'm in the band in heaven at a certain point, way down the line, I'd love to be with Julian, man.
And it's interesting because you've been inspired, but there's a lot of up-and-coming musicians and some on the ship that actually, last week when I was sailing on a regular cruise preparing for this cruise, I said, you know, Gerald Albright's coming on. Gerald? Like the Gerald Albright? So it's interesting, and what we, as you know, what we're doing this year and on this particular cruise, in our Watercolors Jazz Hall of Fame that SiriusXM is our partner with, we're honouring the late, great George Duke and, of course, Gerald Albright.
I'm so happy. I'm very honored, very, very honored with that.
And we're very honored to have you here. And the greatest thing is you have to know it's I'm not sure how much of the sort of background of that you're aware of, but it's a combination of Michael and Trinity and SiriusXM picked you out and we're like, no, we want, you know, Gerald's on the cruise. He's our honoree. So we've got a great show planned for you all on Saturday night, and a lot of musicians are going to be playing, you know, some of your tracks and then yourself, and so we're excited.
I am so excited about that. It's wonderful to be honored, and you know, to be honored for something that you know and love to do. It's just the greatest compliment when you have your peers take the time out to play your music. I mean, that's the greatest compliment. I'm in awe. And
once they mix the show, and then in a couple of months' time, you'll be driving down the road and turn on Watercolors, and you'll be able to hear the whole show back right through.
I am so looking forward to that, Dane. That's awesome.
Well, man, I want to thank you so much on behalf of the crowd and all your fans and everybody here. We're looking forward to Slam Dunk, picking up that Grammy. We're looking forward to Saturday night for the Watercolors Jazz Hall of Fame, and of course your show coming up. Ladies and gentlemen, please thank the incredible Gerald Albright.
Thank you, Dane.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.